Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 1039 or 1039, also known as the time we're starting today, I think, 1039, just a couple 20 minutes late. Apologies for that. Highly annoying. But we're going to do the show. Either way, to my right.
You didn't want to. You almost quit.
Straight off the plane, James Dean Rader. I did want to do the show. Look at me. Look how ready I am for this show. JD Rader's here, straight from Magic Camp.
That's right.
We've been calling it Magic Camp. He went to this the Iridium camp at Fresno, and David Taylor was there, and then he's the Magic Man, so I've just called it Magic Camp for the last
I'm a wizard
week.
now.
And now he's a wizard, and we'll get into all his wizardry. To the left, a man who probably saw a live magician this weekend. Nope, it's Tyler Meisinger. No magicians.
No magicians.
Just Third Eye Blind and Yellow Card.
Yellow Card.
And you were like 1 year old when they had their hit songs.
Yes.
Okay. And then, of course, we have John Kozak. He's here, our international expert. Looking sharp today in the quarter zip. Tyler,
Yes.
would you tell him how people can watch this show?
Well,
when can they watch this show? That is a big question. That's a question I have right now. When can you watch this show?
We go live most days at 11 a.m. Eastern. Right now, it was, 11:15 Eastern? So it's a little different today, but
That's charitable.
most days we go live at 11 a.m. Eastern. You can listen to this show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it on flowwrestling.org. You can watch it on the Flow Sports app.
You should make a commercial for this show, and we could post it. What do you think about that?
What would be in the commercial?
I don't know. Just like us talking. Maybe you saying something funny.
I think
That would take a while to
the
find.
Instagram Reels, those are basically commercials for the show, no?
I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking commercials.
Okay.
Billboards.
Okay.
Okay. All right, good stuff. All right, so we have a lot to get into today. We've got junior duels. We have a surprise guest, possibly. We have the guest. The guest wants to be on the show. We want the guest on the show. The question is, can we possibly pull this off? Now, I will say, as a little tease, we pulled it off around 500 times total, this guest. Now, can we do it one more time? That's the real question. That's the challenge. We've only done it 500 times. It's the 501st time that could prove the most difficult. So we're going to do that. We're going to talk about junior duels. We're going to talk about Magic Camp, David Taylor, everything that he was talking about. Sammy Saso posted some pretty exciting news on his Instagram about a potential return to wrestling. So we got a lot going on. But before we get into all that, you guys laughed at us. You guys thought, oh yeah, these guys will never get a real sponsorship. And State and Liberty, they were there and they're gone and they kicked us to the curb. Well, a lot of egg on your face. State and Liberty is back. They are a sponsor of this show. Yet again, we're so excited to have them back. Presented by State and Liberty, they make athletic fit performance fabric men's dress clothes. They're bigger in the shoulders, chest, and arms. That's good for JD. JD, flex anything. There you go. See?
It added this, put it on this pull, literally added 15 pounds to my bench press, which people didn't think was possible.
They didn't
But
think it was possible.
somehow it is, thanks to State and Liberty.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Tapered at the waist, perfect for the wrestler physique. Now, Tyler doesn't like to wear clothes that fit, but
True.
the problem is when you wear State and Liberty clothes, it's despite your best efforts, Tyler, your clothes actually fit you.
They fit me great.
And you don't look like a 6th Street vagrant.
I actually think I look great in this shirt.
I agree.
Thank you.
Why do you not? Listen, this is available at all times. You could go to stateandliberty.com and put in Flow Wrestling 10 and you would get a 10% discount. Because this stuff, it's not cheap. Okay, but it is affordable. Okay, you put in Flow Wrestling 10, get that 10% discount. You get a nice shirt. That's possible. Maybe, it would have been a great vibe for Vegas, Tyler.
I think it would have. Yeah.
Okay. You made a great comment that Kozak looks like in his State and Liberty court like a
He has a cabin in Aspen.
yeah.
And then you said like he would spend the whole time there on the phone.
You put this on and you feel like
Yeah.
you have a cabin in Aspen.
Yeah, I feel like he does. Okay. So thank you to State and Liberty. We're wearing this stuff. We actually do really, really love it. I went to, you go to stateandliberty.com. Josh, our producer, is trying to order shirts right now instead of producing the show. He's like, what's the website? He wants to order shirts. Josh, this code is good for a while. You don't have to rush it.
If you're listening, you can also click the link in the description.
Oh yeah, JD's going to do that. There's no description yet link because if you're listening live. But if you're not listening live and you're just listening in your car, Now you know where to go.
That's right.
Now, while you're driving, you can click the link and
Yeah.
and go online while you drive.
Yeah, it'll
Don't
work
do that.
great while you're driving. The link works at all times, and so does the code. So make sure you check that out. Thank you to State and Liberty. Glad they're back. Okay, JD, I've already teased the show. I've already done the State and
Can I just say I'm dying right now at just the sight and the preview of JD sitting like that with his wrestling shorts.
Yeah.
Then he's all nice up top with the State and Liberty shirt, and then he's just like this.
It's the duality of man.
Yeah, I love it.
He is work hard, play hard, look nice.
Encompass it all.
Yeah. He is really they talk about the everyman. Oh wow.
Oh no!
No. Get on that. Our producer is getting a tight zoom.
Hit me with the bold shot.
I don't think we needed that. We did not need that.
That's a Flow Wrestling classic, bulging.
Yeah, bulging. Kyle Brackey. And
Bring it back.
Intern Kyle Brackey. Okay, no.
What year was that?
12.
Wow, I was 4.
Year 12?
Yeah, it was
Year 12.
It was 12 BC. Okay, JD. Kick it to Mr. Raider for the opening round. What do we got?
Yeah, so I just did this interview with David Taylor this past weekend, and it's starting a lot of conversations going. David said a lot of things. One thing in particular he said was that Brooks and Yazdani have separated themselves from the field at 86 kilos. Do you agree with him?
Well, partially. I think it is certainly undeniable that Hassan Yazdani is separated from the field, and everyone else at 86. The question is, and the question I keep trying to figure out is, has Aaron Brooks, by beating David Taylor, proven he is head and shoulders above every other 86 save David Taylor? That's where I'm less sure, because everything about the Aaron Brooks conversation right now, to me, boils down to what version of David Taylor did he beat? If he beat the best version of David Taylor the one we saw at 23 Worlds and prior, then I think you could say yes. But I'm less and less sure that was the best version of David Taylor we had ever seen. I'd be actually curious what Kozak thinks about this.
I don't think we've seen Aaron against the top guys enough yet. It's going through his Olympic trials run. I mean, we talked about it. He gave up takedowns, gave up points in every single one of the match. He almost lost to Zahid Valencia. So it's like, I want to see him against some of the best guys at 86 in the world. So I don't know if he's separated himself yet. I'm with you, Christian.
Yeah. What do you think, Tyler? He separated himself from Miles Amin?
I think separated himself. I don't know if you can say separated himself, right? Just because the same things that Kozak said. He got taken down by Conor Mirasola. He got forward by Ringer. He almost lost to. I would just repeat everything that Kozak said.
Well, and another thing is that could bounce it back to maybe they have separated is just the knowledge that David has outside of just their two meetings. He knows Aaron probably almost as well as anyone that's wrestled him, just from watching him train. And so how much of it is, I know what this guy does in the room, I know what this guy's capable of outside of just these competitions, and does maybe that give it the added boost that he has separated from the field?
Well, to kind of send in that same vein, but opposite point, the international field doesn't know Aaron Brooks as well, which is something David mentioned as well. He goes, these guys aren't as familiar with Aaron. You know, this is going to be for a lot of them the first time they're feeling Brooks, which it seemed like David seemed to think would favor Aaron.
Yeah.
Although I will say the Russian who's going to be there, him and Aaron had kind of a tight match at U23 Worlds. It was 5-4. Now it was 2 takedowns to 1 for Aaron. And then there was 1 extra point for fleeing kind of in junk time that made it seem a little bit closer than it was, but still in the balance late.
How much better do we think Aaron is from that time last year to right now? Because around that time a year ago, he lost to David Taylor in 2 straight, and then he wins U23s. What kind of jumps have we seen Aaron make, and how much does the weight gain help him at 86? I feel like all these are positive benefits for Aaron moving forward to the Olympic Games.
Now, I think the weight gain could have actually hurt him at Olympic trials, but having a couple months to acclimate to 86, he didn't get that acclimation 1 month post NCAs. His body was used to competing at 197 pounds. Now he can bring it down a little bit lower and be more within striking distance and not, hey, my body's used to 197. Now I got to drop. Yeah. Now it'll be, I'm training for 86 kilos for these past few months.
I don't think the weight gain helped him maybe day one, but I do think it helped him that 2 out of 3 with David.
Well, he had more time to recover, too.
He looked. There were a lot of opportunities where David was getting to his leg, and David is such a proficient finisher. If he can get to your leg, he'll finish like however high percentage amount of time. So there were a few times where David got to Aaron's legs, and it just looked like part of it was technique also, obviously, but you have to imagine that Aaron's size helped him kind of fend off those attacks.
For sure.
Cool.
Did you went back? Have you gone back and compared like 23 David to what he looked like in the Olympic trials finals?
I mean, I've watched all the matches. There's not as much to look at. I mean, there's a very limited sample size with David. So throughout the course of a year, if he was competing like every couple months, maybe you could have seen the trend line for David, maybe. Right, but the fact that last we saw him was Worlds, and then we don't see him again till the trials 2 out of 3s. There could have been, but we don't really know. We just see the here and the here. I thought he looked different. I think, a lot of people were talking to me about like he didn't look as powerful as in the past, and just the energy just didn't seem to be the same as it had been basically every other time we'd seen him wrestle, essentially in his career, but certainly since from 2018 on. So I thought he looked a little different, yeah.
I did too. I said that right away. I was like, his body language, just seemed off to me. And that's sometimes hard to say. Am I looking too much into things? Am I looking for things that aren't there? Am I trying to make something that isn't there?
Did you think that before he lost?
Yes, I said that in State College. I was like, David looks weird. He looks kind of off to me. But like I said, maybe
I will say I was at Worlds in 23 in the back room, like kind of watching him warm up, and I thought that, and then he went out and like dominated Yazdani. Yeah.
He's never someone where you're like you look at him versus opponent and you're like, this is a specimen, right? Yeah. Like David's literally never been that. He's just been technically just miles ahead of his competition. But time's undefeated. I hate that I just said that because it's the most cliche thing ever in sports. But you never know when.
Father
Time. It's been a while since we've had Shane Sparks on the show. But thank you for bringing him back.
I hate that I said it. It's the State and Liberty shirt. He's a big Shane Sparks, big State and Liberty guy. Maybe a part of him is within me now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Magic Camp wasn't the only thing happening this weekend. We also had junior duels going down, and the ending to this was epic in every way. What happened?
So epic. So it comes down to Wisconsin and Ohio, and both teams have hammer squads without a doubt. And it comes down to the very last match. And basically the scenario is this. If you haven't seen it on social media or anything, you've got oh man, I actually can't.
No, Josh was asking if we have an MP4. I downloaded it. It was in the asset folder.
Okay. Well, we can just pull this up. It's fine.
Okay, fine.
It doesn't really make a difference. So we've got Kellen Wolbert taking on Ohio. I forget the kid's name that he's wrestling. And he has to either get a pin or a scoreless tech to win it for Wisconsin. And he hits this big 4 for a head pinch, and then he goes chin and arm, cow catcher, whatever you call it, and pins him for the win. The place goes nuts. Ben Askren's going insane, comes out on the mat, shoeless, and man, crazy moment. There's a lot of like really cool moments throughout the junior duels, but that was definitely the highlight.
That poor Ohio kid.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's tough.
Interesting thing that happened the match before. Marcus Blaze is wrestling. I don't remember the other kid's name, but Marcus, if he got a shutout tech,
that seals it. Locks it.
And this kid comes out and gets the second takedown, and he had to fight. He had a standing single, and then he ends up rear standing, and then Marcus kind of reaches and has the leg, and you're like, oh, is he gonna be able to find his way out of this? and he puts him down for 2. And it's so funny because it's like Wisconsin still knows that Marcus is probably gonna smoke this kid because he's just so good, and we'll get to that. But the Wisconsin corner and the kids just go crazy when he gets that takedown because they know that point is huge and it gives them a shot.
He did his job.
Match. He did his job. Yeah, I mean, you look at, and I'll just transition to Marcus Blaze right now because this guy, I think he's the OW of junior duels, if you ask me. He 8-0 then pinned Isaiah Cortez, excuse me. He 10-0'd Seidel. He had that 12-2 tech. I think he beat another ranked type of guy, Kozak. But he was just so, I mean, you think about Isaiah Cortez, this is a guy, didn't he beat Bo Bassett?
Yeah.
Like he is an elite recruit. And if you watch this match, as great as Isaiah is, you watch this match, you're like, this is probably not an elite guy. That's how good and how much Marcus shut him down. He is just, there's not enough superlatives for how great Marcus Blaze is. I was just so totally impressed by him. And I'm having Tyler. What's the point of Tyler if we can't leverage his connections? Listen, he's got, in the interview, he's like, listen, if you hire me, you're going to get the inside scoop with Stevan Micic.
Yeah, I said that.
Everything at Michigan and Miles Amin. And obviously I fell for his trap. And now I'm like, hey, your friend Stevan Micic.
I didn't say any of that.
Your friend. No, he didn't. He didn't say any of that. I just like to embarrass Tyler. And then I'm like, hey, I want to know how Marcus Blaze and Stevan Micic, what was that training situation? What level is Marcus really at? I think we all kind of have an idea. And Stevan,
I called him.
Well, then I called him and he answered.
Oh, really?
And I said, hey, dude, Tyler's been trying to get you. He goes, Tyler? He's like, I don't know. He said, Taylor?
We're playing phone tag right now.
Tyler Meisinger. No, he knows.
He said doping showed up at his door right when I called him.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
Dang.
So he's busy.
All right.
So maybe one day we'll figure out.
Maybe one day. But Thursday.
Yeah, maybe Thursday.
Maybe Stevan comes on Thursday.
Maybe it does.
We're just openly just talking about what we might do on Thursday.
Okay.
As seamlessly as we're gonna be able to get on our guest later today, it's got me really excited to have someone on Thursday. That was just no problem.
Outside of Blaze, who were some of your other standout performances from junior duels?
Connor Mirasola, Drayshawn Ross. This was a great match. Was very excited for. To me, this was the number one match of junior duels. The one that if you told me it was going to happen going into junior duels, I would have been most excited for. And it lived up to the hype. And it's crazy because, well, for a number of reasons. One, Connor Mirasola only wrestled one match in junior duels, and it was this one. They held him. So it's interesting that Wisconsin was able to win junior duels.
Wait, you just pinch hit?
Without Connor Mirasola. Basically, without
came out for the big one?
He just came out for the big one. Because they had at 90 they had Aiden, and at 215 they had Cole and Connor, and then at heavyweight they had Coy Hopke. So really they were just.
So they still had a Mirasola in the lineup every duel.
They had they were, but to not have to use both to win, to stretch out, to make, that's impressive me. But anyways, this match, Drayshawn gets the first step out, and then it's a really slick reattack from Mirasola to take the lead, and then he gets a nice ankle pick and single leg, and then
Called it a skibbity.
Yeah, it was a skibbity technically.
Yeah,
that's what it's called.
Hit
him with a skibbity. No, I guess that's a new.
That's something Caleb probably taught you, huh?
He's never said skibbity.
Oh, where'd you learn it?
Well, Spay put it in our little group.
I hope it doesn't mean something like.
Yeah, I hope not. Yeah, that would.
I have no idea what.
That's one of the best ways to trick me. Is just some slang term that I don't realize is nasty. But Spay is on vacation in Virginia Beach, returned to the scene of the crime, and he is with his young niece or nephews. And he said the one just said skibbity, and he says that apparently it's a new slang term that they're all saying. So
some Gen Alpha stuff.
So
Colleen has also informed me that is a middle school term.
Okay, skibbity. So,
skibbity Riz, right? Or I don't
really.
I don't know if those two go together. I'm just learning all these words.
I like watching Tyler age out of cool. That's been fun for me because he came in here 2 years ago. He
Out of cool.
He came in as cool guy 2 years ago, and just like that, I have to explain skibbity to him. This guy's behind on skibbity.
Wow,
that's embarrassing. But yeah, Connor did hit him with the skibbity, and Drayshawn had a sick reattack to make it 6-4, and was after him hard at the end. But Mirasola,
Yeah, the last double was sweet.
Yes. So I'm so impressed with Drayshawn Ross because he's 2 grades behind Connor Mirasola. This is an extremely competitive match. It feels to me like Drayshawn, if he commits to wrestling, I mean, he seems like a national champion type of guy, maybe multiple. I mean, think how much bigger he's going to get as he's a sophomore, rising, going to be a junior. If he gets a little bit bigger, he is going to be a nightmare to beat. I mean, if you're already going, we already know how good Connor is. We've seen him basically at the senior level. And the fact that this kid's in 10th grade and doing what he's doing, I was impressed that I was so excited that Connor took the match. I'm glad that Drayshawn was there. And the question is Drayshawn going to wrestle or play football in college? And I know he's a big prospect, obviously, in both, but man.
We posted a clip of Drayshawn when he was like 15, so that must have been like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
And there were foreign wrestling fans in the comments basically like accusing us of age cheating. Like, 'cause they just could not believe that this man was 15 years old.
Oh, well, I remember, I don't know if I've told this story on FRL before, but I went to Seabolt practice 2019. And I'm looking around, you know, Drake's there, Rachi's there, there's a bunch of guys. Caleb Piles was there. And I'm walking around, and this kid, and everyone's kind of explaining to these others, and they're like, yeah, this kid, he's going to be pretty good. I was like, what? Is he? I was like, he's a sophomore? He's like, he's in 7th grade. I was like, what? He was so big, and like, he was not just big, like, you size, but then you look at the kid's face, you're like, okay, he's 12. No, he just some kids just look like that. And there's Drayshawn Ross right there on the screen. He's big boy. But yeah, really hoping he's like Ben Keeter and ends up wrestling collegiately, because that will be awesome. And I think he's going to do a ton of winning wherever he goes.
Unfortunately, Iowa did fall to 6th place, but we don't have to dwell on that. Wisconsin won, and now it's time to ask the question, where does Wisconsin stack up among wrestling states?
Man, it seems like they are climbing the ranks quickly. They were 2nd at Fargo juniors last year. They just won junior duels. Kozak, do you have the stats pulled up from NCAA points?
Yeah, I believe I think Spade did this by the numbers article. You can see it on your screen there. But yeah, their NCAA points scored 79, which was 2nd, right behind Pennsylvania. And
How many of those are from like the same 3 athletes though?
I mean, a lot, yeah.
A lot.
yeah, I don't know.
That's one way to look at it.
And then All Americans too. They were 5th as well. Or if they had 5 All Americans, they were 3rd. So yeah, I didn't dig too much into their article, but you can do that on your free time, Tyler.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah, Tyler. I'm not going to do your show prep for you on the show. But I think you look at the trend of Wisconsin wrestling over the last 5-6 years, and it's just improving so quickly. And what I think we're going to see is just the volume of elite Wisconsin guys is just going to accelerate. And the impact of AWA on that entire state is just, it goes without saying, but it still should be said that it has absolutely changed the national landscape and the Wisconsin landscape. And I don't think it's going to be long before Wisconsin is not in the conversation with Pennsylvania. I think that will take more time, but to where it feels like for a long time it's been Ohio, New Jersey have kind of been the 2, 3, Illinois. And I feel like Wisconsin is going to be that. And then that changes, right? Sometimes Ohio, sometimes New Jersey. It really can depend. But I think it's not going to be long before it is Wisconsin in the leading that mix, which is incredible. I mean, if we should start, and honestly, if we go back, and I'm sure if our guest gets on, we can ask them, but like, where has Wisconsin been? You know, where were they 8 years ago, 10 years ago? Like, where were they finishing at all these? And they've all, I'm not trying to paint Wisconsin as like, you know, Mississippi here, but they were, you know, outside the top 10, probably without a doubt for wrestling states. And they had some good guys. I mean, they had a Ringer, they had Dustin McCauley, they had a lot of good guys, Thielke, but generally they were not producing a high number of guys like this. And it's systems win and coaching wins, and they have a huge advantage right now.
And I do think they are going to take a little dip after this really good group of AWA guys comes through. Wisconsin is not at a level yet where they are going to have the quantity to withstand losing Sinclair, Mirasols, multiple top 10 big board type guys. Yeah. So they're not quite at that level yet, but they're coming, and they're not going anywhere. So they're not going to be a top one, kind of like you said. I think they're going to take a little dip down. They're not going to be rattling off junior dual titles, I think, back to back anytime soon. But, I mean, Ben's not going anywhere. AWA is not going anywhere. They're going to have dips and valleys, but it's still up and to the right. And one thing that they do have going for them, their guys produce at the college level.
Yes.
You want to take a shot at Tyler? California sometimes.
Come on.
The stereotype is sometimes not all of their best guys pan out. It
hurts my feelings.
In this article here, the graphic we got up on the screen, you can see Speyer writes, Wisconsin went from 0 All-Americans from 2017 to 2019 to being a top 5 state in 3 years. Like that's
wow.
And you can dig it more into what the graph means, but basically you'll see they have 0 blue on the screen there, like at all, and then green is like more recent, and then red is 2024. So it's like exactly what you said, up and to the right.
Wow, that's great.
I did another article too after NCAA's looking at averaging number of data, and from 2013 to 2022, Wisconsin average number of D1 qualifiers was 5.5. This year they had 16.
Crazy. That's an insane growth.
So they're starting to amass the quantity as well as the quality.
Well, how do you judge the quality of a state? Is it by if there's just a few guys at the top, or is it? I'm not trying to even make it. Stop laughing. Like, is it based off like the average skill of the average state qualifier, like that you pull out of a group, or is it how many? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
just because you have 3 guys at the top of a state that go on to do really well because they're from like one of the best clubs in the country.
But they don't. I just said they had 16 national qualifiers. Like, they're starting to amass the quantity as well. They didn't just have 3 national champs.
Yeah, fair.
And Ben has so many clubs, so many locations too, that, I mean, they just won a junior dual team title. You can't do that with
3 guys.
2. Yeah, you need a full team.
No doubt.
So I like looking at qualifiers. I think that's a great opening stat. And then because to the point, like All-American and high A finishes can be less reliable and fluky. I think it's good. It's what separates Pennsylvania. They qualify the most. They have the most AAs. They have the most, not always national champions, but the high AAs. So I think that's a good way to look at it personally. But yeah, how many guys you get to the tournament shows like the level that your state is broadly producing.
Okay.
So no propaganda from a California.
I went into the show thinking I'm gonna spew lots of propaganda, but I don't know that I have a solid argument, honestly.
California loves propaganda. I'm surprised you're not accepting.
I mean, I still think that if you pick the average like state qualifier from California, I would pick them over the average state qualifier in Wisconsin.
Well, that's a different argument because of number of classes as well, and per
well, it's
capita.
probably the same amount of wrestlers. Like,
And
how many divisions are there in Wisconsin?
I think 2 or 3.
And how many do you think there are in the bracket? Like 16?
Yeah, probably.
If there's 2 divisions and they have 16 each,
Yeah, we know there's more wrestlers.
40 wrestlers qualify for California state tournament. So the same amount of kids qualify for state at each state, probably.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, a Wisconsin state title at any level is harder to win than a California title.
Correct.
We can
all agree on that.
We can all agree on that.
I don't know.
Next topic.
Next topic. Still the number 1 state, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Sammy Saso recently put up an Instagram photo from the Lehigh Valley, his old stomping grounds, and he had an interesting comment to say. He said he is 100% coming back to wrestle next season.
That's awesome. Great news. I mean, candidly, just totally anecdotal observations of Sammy. I was like, I don't know if he's ever going to be back. Just watching him just kind of move and walk around. His gait was labored, And I was like, I don't know if it'll ever be right again, but how electric would it be if Saso comes back, wrestle? I don't know what weight he'll wrestle. He looks very prosperous in the picture he posted. Very a little bigger, but 57. I think he'll be a dog there. But I mean, that's the number one wrestler I want to watch next year is Sammy Saso. His return, any return to the mat, if he's not a national finals, national champion, it's like any return to the mat is a triumph and would be amazing for wrestling, Ohio State, Sammy. So really, really hoping we see that.
I'm surprised he said 100%.
100%. There's no wiggle room there.
There's no wiggle room.
There's no getting
Like,
out of
if
it.
he says 80%, it's like, okay.
Good chance.
100%.
Look, and because he said 100%, it has to be said, that boy looking thick.
I know. I said he's prosperous. Been eating. He's back home. Listen, he was back home. Home means home cooking, home meals. These things happen.
I hear they have good Italian
I mean,
there in the Lehigh Valley. I've had good Italian in the Lehigh Valley.
he had to cut pretty hard to make 49.
Oh,
right?
brutal.
Well, he was never going to make 49 again.
Yeah.
He was planning on coming back at 157 before his accident and injury. So
But I wanted him to go 49 one last time so he could win. So I was like, that's your chance to win the title. 57's so tough. Levi Haynes. But here nor there. That was last year. That was before the injury. So that's exciting news. Hope he comes back. Would be a really fun wrinkle to have him back in the mix for Ohio State. Go Sammy.
elsewhere in the social media world, Dee Lockett not putting the rumors to bed or putting the rumors to bed. I don't really know, but there were rumors circulating around because he was training at Iowa State with a handful of other guys. And so rumors started to circulate. Is he 100% committed to OSU? And then he tweets, I know there are a lot of rumors right now, but I am focusing on the World Championships. I'm not focusing on anything else, but trying to run around the mat with the flag once more. Sorry.
One more.
One more.
With one more flag. And then he said under there, it's all rumors. I don't know if this was, to me, I read this tweet. I was like, he's listening. That's what I thought. I think he doesn't want the distraction of people speculating about him potentially not going to Oklahoma State. And those were the rumors, right? And I think to me, this tweet is like, hey, I am focused on this right now, and I don't really want to think about that. And he says it's all rumors, but I'm certain he is still being courted. We know.
Why do you think he tweeted that?
I mean, he's in high school. It's like,
Yeah.
high school kid. It's not like it was bad, but it's just I don't think it helped.
If anything, it added a little
Well,
fuel.
I think so too.
And then people who maybe didn't even hear those rumors then you're just kind of shining light on the rumors.
I'd like to address the rumors.
Well,
Ooh, what rumor?
if you're confident that he's staying, if he's gonna tweet the cowboy emoji, and then you're like, okay, he's still going. to Oklahoma State. But like you tweet something like that, it's like, well, wait, so what are you doing?
Yeah.
It makes you ask more questions for sure.
Yeah.
And as one of the number one prospects in his class, huge whoever gets him.
Yeah. I mean, I don't fault any program that's going after him until that sucker's signed. It's like you go after Dee Lockett. That's just what you should do.
That was one thing when me and Connor were with Jax Force and Bo Bassett. There was a coaching staff that called Bo, and the head coach was like, all we're thinking about right now is the next 17 months. Like, until you sign an NLI, like, we will be recruiting you. Like, which I think is a great strategy. Like, no matter what he didn't say no matter what you say, like, we're going to be recruiting, but he's basically like, until you sign an NLI, like.
Yeah. I think the game is still on until then. And I know there's some coaches that are like, they personally think that's like off-putting or that you shouldn't do that or but I think, how do I want to say this? Your job is to get the best wrestlers you can on your team. There's nothing against it. If the kid says, do not call me again, I'm done.
Yeah.
Click. Okay, don't harass the child.
Yeah.
But if they're taking the calls, if they're still listening, you're not doing your job if you don't pursue it to the end. And if there's a door open, you bust through it like the Kool-Aid man. That's what you should do.
Speaking of
yeah.
Speaking of Kool-Aid.
Well, speaking of just recruits and stuff, Stevan actually got back to me. He told me I
Oh.
could call him right now if you want to hear his thoughts on Marcus Blaze.
Does he want? Are we gonna really do that? A speakerphone?
He-
Does he know he's gonna be on the show?
He knows he's going to be on the show.
Okay, do it.
I'm calling him.
Calling him.
We'll see if he answers this
What a
time.
flex. It's gonna be Tyler's roommate pretending he's Stevan Micic.
What up, Stevan? Can I hear you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, he's there.
All right, Stevan's there.
All right. You want to ask him the question, Christian?
Well, yeah, Stevan.
What's up, Christian?
What's up, man? Hey, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah.
So we've been watching Marcus Blaze this weekend. He looked amazing, and we know you trained with him. What was it like training with Marcus Blaze? How good is this guy, senior level wise?
Yeah, he's honestly, for his age, he holds really, really good positioning for his age, which is like, I feel, a skill that's like tougher to develop and understand, like when you're young, like I always think, like, especially in the U.S., we kind of come out heavy, really attacking hard, and he's able to kind of have a good balance of both, right? You know what I mean? So it wasn't a surprise for me, like after, training with him once, he came up to train with me a few weeks ago, and it wasn't a surprise to me that, he did so well at the Olympic trials, and then obviously the juniors, he's doing awesome. I mean, if he keeps excelling at this rate, I mean, he's going to be a serious problem, I think, if he just keeps on developing and building on what he has a great foundation of, And he's actually going to come out and train with me this week and next week as well, a couple times, twice or three times. He'll come out to our practice. So I like having him more for the fact of, like, I think he has a lot of potential. I always like having guys like someone at his caliber, but yet with the youth, I always think, they're not holding anything back. They want to prove something. They're gonna give their all to help me as well as they're gonna be getting better while doing it. So nothing but good things to say about Marcus Blaze.
Yeah. How's your training been going? How are you feeling preparation wise for the Olympics, Stevan?
It feels right now awesome. I mean, I'm focused. I feel really good. I'm enjoying my training every day, trying to get better. Treat it like every other tournament, just like Worlds, just like Europe. The Olympics is another tournament, but doing it the right way. And this final phase here is about 7 weeks away. So we're starting to push it and get into peak shape here. So I'm excited and just really looking forward to competing and doing my best, the best I can.
All right.
So I have a great feeling about it.
All right. Last question. I got to ask. I would not be doing my job if I didn't ask you this. Spencer Lee, Stevan Micic, what did you think watching Spencer Lee, one, make this team and then his run at Last Chance? What do you think about a matchup against Spencer Lee?
I would really, really like that. I think I've known Spencer for a while. I think he's a good wrestler, and I think a lot of people want to see it, especially with him making the U.S. team and then being the world champ. So obviously, I'm inviting of it. I want to wrestle I want to wrestle the best to be the best. That's always been my motto with things. So for me, I can't wait. If that happens, I'll be looking my chops. I'm excited.
Awesome, man.
So,
hey, Stevan, I really appreciate you coming on. This is
course.
cool. We'll check in. Maybe we'll have you actually on the show, not through Tyler's speakerphone sometime, if you would be.
Yeah, I know. This is tough after the Olympics for sure.
Okay.
We'll figure something else better.
All right, sounds
for sure.
good. All right, appreciate your time, Stevan. Have a good
See you
day.
guys. All right, yeah, of course. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Stevan.
All right, there it was.
I wasn't allowed to talk during that because he had to turn the microphone up super high so you could hear Stevan through the phone. If you're wondering why I was so silent.
You weren't getting bashful on it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. Okay, well, good. All right. Well, that was great.
We have another guest.
He's licking his chops to wrestle Spencer Lee.
That's what he said.
Spencer. He's licking his chops. Funny visual. Okay.
Hey, we've got back-to-back guests because we got another
Back-to-back
guest.
guests. We have so many Olympians. I think Ben can hear us. He's smiling like he can hear us. He can. He gave a thumbs up. I just gave away who our guest is. He's been on 500 episodes of this show, and now one more. The powers that be tried to prevent it. He's the Junior Duels coach, champion, whatever you want to call it. For my money, one of the best coaches, maybe the best coach in America, Ben Funky Askren, making his return back to the show. What's up, Ben?
What's up? How are you guys? You know what? I was just thinking because I was listening to that last little bit with Stevan. All you haters who don't want the Americans to wrestle for other countries, let's take all the spots because you know what? We got Stevan Micic, we got Roman Bravo Young, and we got Spencer Lee all in the same bracket. I mean, that could be like a semi and a final. Like that sounds like a lot of fun.
It does sound fun. And Darian Cruz is in there. 4 Americans at 57.
Yes.
Pretty awesome. Ben, I do want to catch up with you generally, just how you've been. And there's a lot of wrestling news happened after you left, but we got to start. Junior Duels, how exciting, how proud, what kind of emotions are you feeling winning that tournament? Not just to mention the way you guys won it, but just what it takes to win a tournament like that.
It's so awesome. I wasn't even on the coaching staff, actually. I did go to 16U Duels last week, and then, you know what? I just said, I'm not missing this. Like, I think we're going to win. I'm not going to miss it. I actually had to do a camp on Thursday. I flew down on Friday, so I missed the first 2 easy duels where we rolled them up. But then I was there for the rest of it, and it was amazing watching all the guys compete so hard. And it's just such a good group of guys. They work so hard. They love each other. And it was so much fun to pull it all together. And then especially in as dramatic of a fashion as possible, right? It's like we needed a pin and we got a pin, and it was awesome.
Yeah, the fact that it came down to Kellen in that moment. I mean, we were talking before the show. I don't know if you were able to listen, but talking about Peters getting the takedown of Blaze before,
huge.
How big that was.
Yeah, that was huge. And we didn't know because both their guys had weighed in at 32, so we didn't know if they were going to go Blaze at 32 or Blaze at 38. And, I figured their strategy was they think, hey, Marcus Blaze can go to a shutout, which will then put us up by 5, and then all the next guy's got to do is not get pinned. That was probably their thinking, which is highly logical and probably the right move.
Yeah.
And then Lucas, he scraps. He's a really tough wrestler. He's going to Indiana next year, and he got the takedown on Marcus Blaze, which only put them up by 4. And when they were only before, I knew Kellen was going to get it done. He's a gamer. He loves to compete. He wrestles really hard. He's got a lot of weapons. So I had a lot of faith when that happened.
Did he get a lot of calls when recruiting opened up?
If you didn't call me, you're an idiot. So I would have to imagine that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And I thought it was really cool the number of seniors. You had Mirasola, Millard, both Mirasolas, Millard, Sinclair, Hopke, all come out. Yeah. All those guys are probably going to college like now. I think the Mirasolas literally left from Junior Duels too.
Yeah, and Sinclair and Stoffel drove down from Mizzou.
Wow. So that's pretty incredible. We've been talking about where Wisconsin fits in the pecking order and speculating. Where do you think it is, and where do you think it's going?
Well, I know where I think it's going. A win at Junior Duels puts you up there with the best of them. And we beat Illinois and Minnesota, who are generally really, really high states at 14U, 16U, and juniors, I believe, which I don't know that that's ever happened. So that's like, I don't know if your tier 1 is Ohio and Pennsylvania. And then your tier 2 would be like,
Jersey, New
York, New Jersey, California, Illinois, Minnesota, Iowa, like those type of states. I think we're firmly in tier 2 right now. And I think we are headed in the direction of tier 1.
Now you're losing a big crop, both Mirasolas, Sinclair, Millard, probably some others. What do you think about the crop coming behind those guys?
Yeah. So we have obviously a lot of really good seniors, but I don't think we'll be too far down, and I think we can challenge for a title. And I told the guys after we won, I said, this was our goal to win a title, and now I expect every year that we're going to challenge for a title. We're not going to go way back, and so we have a lot of really good guys. Like the guy that Aiden Sinclair beat in the state finals, he's a Fargo All-American, right? So there's another guy that you can plug in. There's another 190 we had that was a Fargo All-American. You plug him in. We had Caleb Denny, who wasn't on the team. He was a U17U runner-up. So I think you can plug in a lot of really good guys next year and have a really, really, really competitive team.
Nice. What
Yeah.
I guess outside of junior duels, what's been going on with you? How's your time away from the show been? How's coaching been going?
Yeah, it's been. I thought I'd miss it more. I'm sorry. I don't miss it that much. It's nice to have the free time, especially on Monday morning, which you guys tricked me because you guys moved the show to like 10 a.m., which I would have freaking loved. I don't know if Tyler talked you into that one or JD talked you into that one. I don't know who talked you into that one. I would have loved that.
Yeah.
But it's really
It's
nice
very
to
nice.
have my mornings. It's really nice, right? But yeah, stuff to get my mornings done. And then, the other thing summer was always the hardest for me because there's always a lot of traveling and then to have to negotiate the FRL schedule with the camp schedule or whatever I'm doing. I remember last year I did this vector camp in Utah. They're really cool. And I remember last year I walked in to change. I remember last year I did the show in the coach's office because it was like, that was the only way to get it done in time. And so it was like nice to not have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Like I think this is what Ben is saying. Podcasting is tougher than being a coach.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to brag here. I'm not trying to brag. I don't want
100%.
I don't want any pats on the back or anything. But I'm just stating facts. I hopped on a plane at 2 a.m. local time, currently Central Time. It's midnight on the West Coast. I landed at 8:30 this morning. Came straight here.
Wait, why were you on the West Coast?
I was at a camp,
Magic.
getting some content.
Okay.
Yep, Iridium camp put on by Izzy Silva. Great camp. Shout out to all the people out there, the Buchanan wrestling family. Very hospitable. It's an amazing experience.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so he is
Nice.
It is tougher. I mean, it's Ben's words, not yours, JD.
That's right.
He literally said it's tougher.
I would never say
That's
it.
big of Ben to admit. That's the humility.
It's just tough. Yeah, it's tough fitting it all together, especially in the summers. Max, I went to junior trials. I went to junior duels. I went to cadet duels.
Yeah.
We had a little state duels. So yeah, it's been a busy summer so far. It actually slows down a lot. We're doing a little camp with Izzy style Fargo prep camp. We've always done ours kind of on the same time, and we decided to combine this year so we weren't fighting over college coaches and whatnot. And then, a little time off for the 4th of July, Great American Holiday,
It is
and then one more week, and then Fargo. How many of you guys are going to Fargo?
I'll be there.
All of us, right?
Everyone but me.
Oh, wow.
CP's too good for Fargo. He thinks
not.
he's too good for Fargo.
I'm not too good for Fargo.
You work at Flow
When
for
was the
10
last time
years,
you went
get
to Fargo?
stop work going to Fargo.
It's been a couple of years.
Is that what it is?
It's been a
10
long
years?
time. I'm embarrassed to say
since I worked here.
no. Oh, yeah, well before then. I haven't been. Oh man.
CP hates Fargo.
And you know what I said last year? I've said a couple of years. I'm going next year. Every time I watch our Fargo coverage, I'm like, I'm going next year, and then I don't. This one's so close to
Daddy-daughter dance.
Daddy daughter dance. And so, no, related to that, I'm going for the Olympics for a couple weeks, and that's just a lot of time away from the children. So yeah, I didn't want to do that. But no, maybe next year. I'm gonna start saying maybe now. I really.
That's just a reoccurring bit that you say every year.
Listen, deep down in my soul, I want to be at Fargo. I really do.
I'll believe it when I see it. 'Cause
All right,
you can make
fine.
it happen.
Yeah, I could.
Ben, do you know, was this the first time Wisconsin had won junior duels?
First time. Never been done
First
before.
time.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations.
We came really close to winning 16 U's against, it was actually against Ohio 2 years ago. Aiden Sinclair gave us a lead, and I want to say we lost the last 2 matches to lose it. So
Dang.
that one was.
Did
that
y'all
one
have a
was rough
crazy?
to
There was a
lose.
crazy heavyweight match. Am I remembering correct?
Yes, Evan Gratz got up. I think he had 2 crotch lifts and he got up 8-0, and he lost the match to lose the duel.
I
Unfortunately,
remember that. Poor Evan. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Yeah. that was really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Way to bring that one up.
Well, you didn't have to bring the kid's name up.
Hey, I see in the show notes. I don't know how you felt about this. I was really sad about the best, some of the best guys in the world not getting wrestled in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Sadulayev, Ugayev,
Sidikov.
I believe.
Kadi.
It's like, dude, it makes it. I feel like I know, like in 20 years, it won't have an asterisk next to it, but it does make it feel like this sucks that these guys aren't going to be here, so we can see who the real best one in the world is.
Totally agree. I feel the same. It's a bummer. How would you were in the Olympics. If a month or two before they said Tiev can't go, he's not allowed in, what would you have thought?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, if it was an injury thing, or if he got caught popped for steroids, if it was something where they did it, then it's like, that happens, and listen, if Satiev gets hurt, then they throw, oh my gosh, what's the dirty cheater's name?
Sargouche.
Thank you, Sargouche. They throw Sargouche in there, right? And that's still a very formidable opponent. But it feels like in a lot of these brackets, they took like all the Russians out. Like they said, no one can compete almost. So I feel like that makes it, I don't know, more frustrating and more difficult. And, for me, it's like, what did Sidikov actually do? It doesn't feel like he did anything to not be included. And, the last time I felt like, okay, so many of these guys actually popped on steroid tests from the McLaren report. And so it's kind of like, oh, we should really kick them out for that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, let's test them properly. And I to my knowledge, they haven't been tested properly, although I'm not certain. I'm not there for sure. So if they're abiding by the rules, then let them in.
Yeah, totally agree.
As a consolation prize, it's not the Olympics, but it is being reported that Sadulayev is going to wrestle 92 at non-Olympic weight worlds and Yuguyev at 61 non-Olympic weight worlds.
Guyev
Have they announced the American trials for the non-Olympic world weights?
Not yet. Still not yet.
Do you think Abaskazi
God.
could go down again?
Mm-hmm. For
Yeah,
sure.
dude, he will beat Guyev in my opinion. I think he's better. But that is good news. That's exciting.
What do you think on that, Kozak?
Yeah.
You disagree?
I don't know. We'll see. I think it'll be a close match. Yeah. Aguyev just won Russian Nationals at 61. Abaskazi took second at 65.
Yeah. Probably the biggest news item since your departure, Ben, was the hiring of David Taylor at Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on just that entire saga?
I thought it was great. I told you I felt it in my guts that was what was going to happen.
You did.
And I actually made a video
took it
on
back,
why
though.
I felt that way. What?
You took it back, though.
No, Christian made me doubt myself, and then I was mad at myself for listening to Christian. That's what I was mad about.
He did say no, but then they got
Christian pretty much guaranteed me that it was not happening.
Well, he had told them no. That's why.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying you guaranteed it.
True.
But hey, I did look up you asked me earlier today, or maybe it was last night, about the go behind being the number one takedown in wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And I looked back. So we did this in 2018 and 2019. I have the world championship results up for the point scoring. We also did we did a women's worlds, and we did because Adeline Gray wanted to yell at me, even though I spent my own money and effort putting these together. She still wanted to yell at me for not being fair. Although I think I should be able to do whatever I want with my own money and my own time, whatever.
Hey,
hey
Ben,
I did the US Open as well.
Let's tee up what maybe we're talking about, which is that David Taylor made a video where he said, hey, he was teaching to go behind. He said, this is the number one takedown in wrestling, which sparked a conversation. Hey, is it the number one takedown in wrestling? And honestly, how you classify what it is and isn't a go behind totally changes the discussion. And if it is,
how are you classifying it?
Well, I think you can end up in that front headlock type of position where you're controlling the head and you block the arm. And then if you drop in on the ankle or the leg and then they come up and it's a single leg and you finish single leg, how are they going to score that? Yeah. Or is it just a traditional block the head, block the arm, run behind? Because that's less and less.
No, you're right. That is, and that's one of the things we struggle with when building this puzzle of how to actually score things, because it's not, you're right, it's not so easy. It's not like I shoot single, I score single, right? Because it could transition into a whole bunch of different things. So in front headlock points, so meaning I actually got a snap down, right? There was only 56 points by that, right? This is from 2018. Whereas in comparison, single leg and double leg are both around 150 points. Yeah. Right. So there's not a whole bunch of points comparatively, but then, you go to the defensive stuff and it's like sprawl stuff, go behind, that says 34 points. Right. So if you start adding it together, which, I don't know that I don't feel like they're the same thing. Down block, go behind, that's 70 points. Right. That's a different category than above. A reshot, that's 50 points. And so we counted a reshot as a reshot, not as a single leg or double leg point. Right. Yes. And so it is kind of a funny thing of you could classify these in a few different manners if you wanted to. I thought the way we did it was a really fair way. And so basically I built out these scoring charts. And then we have a by weight. There's 17 matches per weight class. So then I built it out, and then I would have like some of our older, smarter athletes just run through it. I think each of them took 2 weight classes. So there's probably like I don't know, Keegan maybe, and Jack Ganos and Mitchell maybe. I'm not certain who all did it at this point, but I would essentially pay them to watch all the matches and score them.
That was smart.
Yes.
So yeah, what do you, at the end of the day, what do you think the number one takedown in wrestling is?
Okay, so 2018 it was a double leg. Well, you know what actually was in
Really?
2018? Yeah, it was double leg is 150, and then single leg is 141. Gut wrench is actually 220 in 2018. And then in 2019, which is crazy, gut wrench is 174. And then in that year, singles 190 and doubles 145. Right.
Man.
So those 3 kind of are probably going to be the top 3, I would guess. I guess you could get a similar point total for a go behind if you want to add up all the different kinds of go behinds. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah,
But
it does.
I don't know that that's totally fair. I guess it's kind of the same skill set. So maybe.
How would you
I don't know, what do you think?
classify? Let's take just an actual takedown we saw this weekend. Mirasola's first takedown against Drayshawn Ross.
Oh, I don't even remember which one that was. I think he had a down block go behind it, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he ended up on the ankle with his left hand. Drayshawn took a shot.
Yeah, so I believe we would have classified that as a reshot, right? Because he blocked Drayshawn's shot and then he reshot, attacked, and scored on the legs. And so it's like, those points aren't scored with the single legs or double legs. They're scored as a reshot because we thought it was a more fair representation of what actually had happened in the match,
I think that could just be easily classified as a down block go behind too.
But if you go to the leg and then finish on the leg, a down block go behind to me is I down block you, I go behind you.
Okay.
Like I'm not reattacking your legs. I feel like if you come up and I reattack your legs, that is some type of reshot. Now, obviously, I could do one from the open. I could do one from like a drag where I'm dropping to the leg. I could do it a few different ways. But to me, I think the most fair way there is that is a reshot.
In that specific instance, it wasn't really. He didn't come back up and he didn't get it on his leg though. He down blocked and he like grabbed the ankle.
He's really
and
good
just
at catching the
kinda
ankle.
went around.
Yes.
Like they didn't even really come back up at all. So
Well, I think it's not about where if they come up or not. I think it's what position are you when you attack. Like if you're off to the side, if you got to an angle, went behind a little bit, you started that go behind process. But if you hit it and you reach for the ankle, like from straight on parallel, then it's more of a reattack than a go behind.
Yeah. Yeah. This is where this was really tough. And honestly, when I put the chart together, it's like I started out with an idea and then I would watch matches and I'm like, oh, I forgot about that.
Mhm.
Oh, I forgot about that. And then it's like thinking through, okay, how do you classify everything? Right. And then I would take some of the actions and when I taught all the guys how to watch them, I'd be like, here's what we're watching for. Here's how we're going to count this. Here's how we're going to count this, because it is like, and then, there's certain things where you wouldn't want to like double count a point. So if I want to say down block go behind to a single, I could count as a down block go behind and I could count as a single, but then that would be like, there's only 2 points in the match. And I have 4 points on the board. That doesn't really seem proper.
Yeah.
The other part of this too, and JD pointed it out before the show, was David Taylor added on to the end of it. It's the most efficient score in wrestling. So like
Well, I would agree with that.
yeah. So like, are you putting yourself in any kind of danger in a block go behind?
When he said it later in the practice, we don't even really know what he meant by the number one takedown. He could be, hey, this is your the best.
That's
You're
fun
most
to
efficient.
know.
You should master this one. If you're gonna master this one, not necessarily number one equals most popular.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, here's a kind of a telling statistic though, I would think, or like a single leg to a push out, we count it as a push out point also, that's tricky, right? Because that's another one that could be double counted very easily.
Mm-hmm.
But in 2018, the amount of points from a shot, so I'm scoring off my shot, is 477, and defense 2 shots is 270. And in 2019, it was 547 and 288. So roughly a 2-to-1.
Scored a counter.
A 2-to-1 both years. And then even under the push outs, we classified shot or control tie, right? So in 2018, there's 79 points where they shot and pushed them out from the leg attack, and 62 where they pushed them out from some type of control tie. And the following year is actually 98 for shots and 48 for control ties. So like an underhook, seatbelt, 2-on-1, these type of things.
Another data point that I would love to see, and this is extremely hard, and I don't think it'll ever happen, but the percentage of that a shot was countered. So how many times was a single leg countered versus how many times was a double leg countered for points, and like finish rate. So
we did not get.
Like that's
definitely
getting
didn't get
way
that
into the
nitty-gritty.
weeds. Yeah, but that would be interesting to see.
That
too.
company? There was a company that was attempting to do this. It's called Quant. The guy was out of like Chicago or maybe north of Chicago a little bit.
No, that's the Flow Wrestling, the Quant division. We have that.
You probably
No, but the unfortunate part is there's just not enough money, right? So in like, he really had it broke down. He had it like when they shoot a right side head inside single, and I agree with this. It's, do I score? Does he score? Or does no one score?
Mhm.
Right. And I always talk to my athletes about that too, because if it's like 60% of the time I score and then 40% of the time you score, that's not really that good. It's not terrible. I'm scoring more than you, but it's not great. But if I just change it to 60, 20, 20, 60% of score time I score, 20% of the time you score, 20% of the time no one scores, right? So I'm stingy and I don't give up any points. Now I've just cut down. My ratio went from 1.5 to 1 to you to 3 to 1. And that's freaking gigantic, right? Having the stinginess and not give up points on things is so important. I think a lot of people don't talk about that. So he actually had that classified, right? And they had percentage bases, but I don't think there's anyone who has enough money in wrestling to pay for that. Whereas like the, say, Los Angeles Dodgers, they probably have a whole team of those type of people.
Yeah. Not even counting Shohei's gambling winnings. Just kidding. Ben got that. I did not know if Ben would get that.
I thought, didn't that guy get like suspended for a long time for gambling?
No, yeah, Shohei didn't do anything. It was his interpreter.
I'm still not so sure.
That's what they all say.
Yeah.
That's what they all say.
Yeah. They always say it's my English interpreter.
Very convenient.
Always that.
Very convenient indeed. Yeah, the counters to go behinds are far more limited and successful, like short drags or dumps or whatever. It's very, very little.
Well, no, it's just being stingy and not letting them go behind you. And actually, who's the best at this? It's freaking David Taylor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple who are really good at it. Zahid's really good at it too, but like they are so annoying that you can't freaking go behind them. And it's like you can try all kinds of different ways. You're not going to get behind David Taylor. If he's like on his knees underneath you, you're not scoring on him.
That's how he beats Yazdani. Yazdani goes underhook and he'll drop to his knees and be like, "You can't score here from front headlock."
Crazy.
Well, when we went to his farm, he said, "Yeah, Yazdani stopped trying to go behind me because he realized he was just losing energy."
It helps to have incredibly long
give
arms.
up more points than you get.
Yeah,
crazy.
It helps to have incredibly long arms like David, so you can just toss up an arm from anywhere and stop a guy from coming behind.
It's something. If there's something to that, and it's also maybe I don't know. I think it's probably neck and upper back strength. Also, the way they're kind of like rigid in there, and then they all him and Zahid both kind of like they don't sit their butt on their heels. Their butt is generally up a little bit when they're doing this, and they're kind of like moving a little bit. And it's I don't know. I wish all my wrestlers could never give up go behinds. It's so annoying.
Well, yeah, it's funny. He said it was the #1 takedown, but that's also like his motto at M2 was no go behinds. Like they would run the no go behind drill where they're getting in that position and making sure they don't give them up.
You should up the ante, Ben, and just have the not no go behinds, just no points, just that no one ever scores on you. Because it worked with David. No go behinds. Take it a step further. No points.
No points.
That's how Wisconsin gets to #1.
Did Sinclair get scored on this weekend? I don't think he did. Did he?
No, all 10-0s and 11-0s.
Yeah, he's pretty good at wrestling.
He is not too shabby.
I wonder if Cole got scored on because it seemed like he was just slaughtering everyone. Also, he may have got scored on one time.
Mako didn't score on him, I know.
Oh yeah, I thought that was gonna be way more competitive, and Cole did not make that one very competitive.
He picked him apart. I think he might have had a 14-4 in there. Maybe that was someone else.
I think there was. I think you're right. I think there was a match where he gave up something like that. You know what match was crazy? Did you watch this match?
I don't know yet.
Kellen Wolbert versus Elijah Cortez.
No, but I've been meaning to go back and watch.
Oh my God, it was so. Kellen freaking got up 10-1, and he got excited and tried really like to push out. He was on a single leg for the 11-1, and Cortez came over the top and kind of it was a legal key lock. I'm not saying it was illegal. It was legal. It was good, but key locks him for 4. And then they got in a crazy scramble. And Kellen, I still disagree with the call, but if we threw the brick, it would have made it 10-10. So I didn't want to throw the brick.
Good.
Kellen, it got a crazy scramble, and Kellen chest wrapped him. And I'm almost certain it was 4 points Kellen, 2 points Cortez, but they went straight 4 points Cortez. So it went from 10-1 to 10-9.
Oh my gosh.
In two scenarios, and one where he was getting greedy trying to push him out, and then he I think it was like a minute left and ended up shutting him down for the last minute. But Cortez was really he's a tough wrestler, and he was going after it hard, and that was a really crazy match.
Yeah, Sam Herring blanked our old friend. He beat Cortez 10-0.
Dang,
nice
really?
result for our guy. That's pretty.
Yeah, there were
cool.
some good matches, because then Blaze was bumped up to 38 a few times, and there was 44, I think, was really good. There was Zepeda and Alex Braun, and Ohio had a really good kid. Our kid is really tough, Tyson Peach. There was a few weight classes that were pretty deep and pretty solid. And to that point, I do wish more people would show up for junior duels, because it is, with the better teams, it is one of the toughest tournaments in the country, and you do get 7, 8, 9 matches. It's such a great event. It would be nice if some of these, and I think maybe it's just their state organizations not being super organized. And so shout out WWF, Scott Cleaver, Todd Schaff. Really, Wisconsin, super organized, and we try to bring our best team to all the events.
Yeah, I feel like I saw some tweets like Pennsylvania's going to be coming for it next year. Like they're going to bring the cavalry. And
Good.
Obviously, we know
Bring it.
That includes. Yeah, that would be fun. And hopefully this is like, all right, Wisconsin won. Everyone's like, we got to get our act together before Askren gets too much momentum. Wisconsin's on a
Well, you
runaway
better
train.
get going fast, because in a few years it ain't gonna matter who you bring.
Ooh, I love it. I
I hope you get second every year from here on out.
Yeah, to Iowa.
To Iowa.
To Iowa.
To Iowa. That's okay. Iowa has a really good 16U group. I think they beat us at 16U. That's like Schwab, and they got who are those other kids? They have a bunch of really tough little guys in there.
Yeah, we ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. Hey, what'd you
We
think?
got history on our side.
You must not have watched
I know.
Iowa
I
this
saw the
weekend,
junior
'cause
duels.
it
I saw the result.
But in that
was
match,
ugly.
you had Ross versus Mirasola. What are your thoughts on Drayshawn?
It was a really good match. I know. That was the only match Connor wrestled. So I actually didn't love the idea of throwing him out there as the first match, because no one ever has a great first match. It's just kind of tough to get going right away. Yeah, I wish he would have wrestled a few more. Obviously, for our lineup, it would have been better if we would have had last year's weights, and we could have maybe got Aiden to 82, and then Connor to 95, and then Cole to, and we wouldn't have lost any of those weight classes ever. So yeah, I thought Drayshawn wrestled tough and competed. I was frustrated from a technical perspective. I was frustrated. I thought Connor left him with his post, and his post is abnormally long, right? His arms are really long. And I thought he needed to clear that a little more effectively to get things going. He just didn't do that. No, I know he was frustrated by it also.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing watching.
Yeah. Do you know the twins, Cole and Connor, they're so funny because they really get mad at each other. And so for a while I tried to break it up, and now I try to instigate it. And so I remember that the trials or something, and Connor was yelling at Cole. I don't recall who he lost to. Oh, it was big guy wrestles in Binghamton, 197. What's his name again?
Oh, I was gonna say
Dupre. Yeah, he lost to Dupre, and Connor was just chewing Cole out. And then so, Connor wrestled that match, and Cole, I walked down the stairs, and Cole's like, "What was he even doing out there?" I'm like, "Go let him have it. He would let you have it." And then he goes and yells at him
after his Drayshawn match.
Yes, it's so awesome.
Man, I gave credit.
What were you even doing? You let him post the whole time. Then they go at it. It's the best thing ever.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's funny. Hey, Ben, did you know that we are once again on the last show? This is kind of funny. The last show you were on was sponsored by State and Liberty, and we are once again. We have them back. They're back for this show.
I thought you were just permanently sponsored by State and Liberty.
We're permanently every episode you're on, apparently. But no, we're not.
Oh.
But for this episode,
is that
we are.
because I'm so well dressed? Is that why?
It's the irony of kind of the before and after. Look at that, Parker Keckheisen. That's not a State and Liberty shirt. That's not a State and Liberty shirt.
Darn it.
But you can go to stateandliberty.com and put Flow Wrestling 10, and you can get 10% off all their shirts, the suits. They got a whole spread. And, you know, Tyler is always complaining. He's always like, oh, State and Liberty, they only have one brick and mortar store. And I'm like, Tyler, they have 29 stores around the world. He's like, no, they don't. You go to his native state of California, Manhattan Beach. You can go international with this. You can go to Canada, which is not part of America.
I don't want to
Look at all the dots. Look at this. We need a heat map for all the State and Liberty locations, including Dallas, Texas. So you could go up there. So no excuses, because Tyler's one of these guys. He's big. I don't order anything online. They can't get my information, deep state and stuff. But you could drive up to Dallas and you could get more shirts like that. Or Houston.
I don't drive.
Closer.
They might get pictures of your license plate that way.
That's true. He doesn't drive. How do you get around?
I'm way off the grid.
Yeah, way off the grid.
Exclusively
Scooter.
Yeah, scooter.
Skateboards and bird scooters all the way. So you could bird scooter to Houston.
I force you to buy a bird scooter, and then I put my arm on your shoulder and make you drag me through the city of Austin.
That happened. That's happened 2 times. The first time was so scary because we were on Congress, which is a very busy thoroughfare. And I'm on the scooter.
Thoroughfare?
And he's on, I think that's the word. That's the word. And
I think you're right.
yeah, I'm right, JD. And then
You need me on the show because these guys don't have a very great vocabulary.
I know.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Hey, I represent the simple man, so I would say road, like a normal human being.
But I think
Not thoroughfare.
Yeah. John can look up
It's
what
a
that
word. I got it.
I didn't say it wasn't word. I was making fun of you for saying it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
you can make fun of him.
trying to broaden everyone's worldview a little bit, and I just
I
get.
say lot word when few word do trick. I say road.
He's holding onto my shoulders while I'm on a bird scooter, and he's on a skateboard. There's buses going by. We could touch the buses. It was scary, and he made me do this. And he gaslit me that this wasn't dangerous. And then everyone that saw us do it was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "You're gonna die." I was like,
Safe and legal thrill.
"See."
And then I got you to do it again.
And then I did it again. I'm so weak when it comes to giving these weird rides on a bird scooter. But I'll say this.
I wouldn't say that. I'm so weak when it comes to giving weird rides.
No, you know what? Everything with this generation. Everything.
This generation, what's wrong with
You
them?
guys know how
You know what? I was just raging. I was raging
What?
on the plane with this generation. Well, one of these 25-year-olds, Nate Arquinigo, who does the WI Wrestle stuff, the Snapchatting. It's like, okay, they just take pictures of themselves and they send it. And it's like, why do you feel the need to do this? If you don't have anything to say to someone, don't say anything. Like,
I don't
I'm like,
Snapchat.
why don't you just text someone? He's like, well, I don't have anything to say to him. I'm like, well, why do you feel the need to send a picture? It's really weird. Like, it's very low level intellectually, in my opinion. And I don't know what they're doing, Christian. I don't get it. Oh, do not send me a picture.
right
No,
now.
I'm hanging up.
What? I didn't do anything.
Christian doesn't do Snapchat. You're lying.
No, I don't.
I don't do Snapchat, but I will say when we were
100%.
on the recruiting visit,
God.
Bo and Jax, I think they said that their main form of communication with their friends is Snapchat. Like when
Yes,
Bo
that's what
made
they
his
do.
U20 team, like they made a Snap group, and that's how they all communicate with each other. And I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Wow.
Weird. So weird.
You think that's weird? Okay.
Hey, I got lots of yard work to do, so I got to run.
Well, thanks for coming on. We'll finish the show. We'll have to get some questions in, but we appreciate you hopping on, Ben.
Oh, man.
Congratulations once
All right,
again,
that's fun.
and I hope to have you
See
on
ya.
again soon.
Thanks,
All right,
Ben.
peace, guys.
Goodbye, Ben.
We should ask Ben if he knows what skibbity means.
Oh yeah, we should have. Yeah, because does he teach the skibbity?
Mm-hmm.
I should have just been like this. Well, speaking of go behinds, what do you think the best setup for a skibbity is? I'd be like, he would have
hung up early.
He would have short circuited for sure.
Is it time for questions from
Yeah.
friends?
Okay, let's do that.
Presented by State and Liberty.
Yes. We thought about doing a bit where every time we said the word state, which we said a lot, we just said and liberty at the
liberty.
end of it. But we decided to not do that.
I'm glad you mentioned that.
But maybe we could have.
Okay.
You know,
Well-
that's a pre-bit.
Okay. Great.
You never know.
This is what you could have, State and Liberty. If
This
you,
we could. Every
if you
time we
continue to sponsor.
you could literally own the word state on the show. But we're not going to do it. Oh, why does your hold on?
Presented by.
You got to stop. The Today Show is getting to the bottom of skibbity.
Oh my God.
Why does your teen say skibbity? That is on the screen right now. We're not going to click the video, but did you learn anything, or are you learning in real time, John?
This is real time for me too. I might have to read it later.
I don't want to know what Urban
This
Dictionary
is old,
says.
old people radio live.
Yeah, we're trying. But to be fair, you guys didn't know what it means either. You just know it's. You just
We
know
are
it's
the
there.
old people.
I'm happy I don't know what skibbity means.
Yeah.
It says it's a silly word that means literally nothing.
Oh.
There you go.
So it's kind of a catch-all. You can use it in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. So I kind of like the way you used it. Hit him with the skibbity.
State and Liberty Skibbity.
All right. Questions from friends. That's what it's time for. Number 1, we got from
Tyler.
what?
There we go.
From Hassan Muhammad. He said, Part 1, am I crazy for thinking that the JB versus Dake senior level debate isn't close at all? Jordan has 3 more world and Olympic gold medals, started his career at 69-0, has over 100 more career wins, and an identical amount of losses as Kyle Dake. Head-to-head owns the record over Dake 7-3.
Let's kick up the Dake Burrows talk
Part
once
2.
again. The debate.
We did this last week, and kind of like, are they even? Is it a draw?
Well, let me finish. Here's part 2.
Oh, this is a two-parter.
Even if Burrows made it to the trials finals this year and lost in 2 straight, he would still own the series 7-5. Plus the lack of quality international wins from Dake. How is this a debate?
Well, the debate is Dake is going to continue to add to the resume. And just like Jordan was able to build his resume prior to Dake really entering the conversation, 11 through 13. And even 13, he was just out of college. So now this is Dake's kind of opportunity to do that. And if he runs off a couple more, I think it becomes more of a debate. I don't disagree that if Kyle Dake retired today, yeah, you could say Burrows has the edge.
Mhm.
So I don't.
You could or you would?
Wow. You're not gonna let me say could. You could is nice because it's like, oh, you could not. I would.
Yeah.
I would say.
And then, well, you could also get into debate of who was better in their prime, like who would win in their primes. And then you have to get into the debate of, okay, well, when was Jordan Burroughs' prime? Has Kyle Dake reached his prime? Yeah, because if you say Jordan Burroughs hadn't taken a step back since 2013 or 14 or 11, and he continued to improve, well, then with that argument, theoretically, Dake would have been at their best, at their peaks, better because he beat him in 2021.
I think 11 through 17 is the Burrows prime.
Yeah, I don't think you can say 2021 was his prime.
No, definitely not. Even though he was still winning world titles.
Yeah.
I think that version of Burrows, and I think that's the level that Burrows was at during that run, especially 11 to 13, but really 15. Well, that's as high a level of wrestler as I ever saw at any level.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Do we want to say anything else about that? Do you want to talk about like the head-to-head, like the series? Like if would it change your mind if he made the trials finals and lost 2 more?
No. Just like I fully expected that to happen.
Yeah.
I fully expected Dake to beat him in 2.
All right. Next from Dominic Montano, who are the front runners for Team USA at the non-Olympic weight world championship, and who are some of the world guys to look out for? So the weight classes for this are 61, 79, 92. Did I miss one? 70. 61, 70, 79, and 92. So who are the front runners from the U.S. at 61?
61, Dayton Fix will be in the mix. I'm excited for Marcus Blaze.
You hope Vito's back.
Yeah, obviously world champion Vito Arujau. It sounded like when they made the decision to not pursue trials, it was with this in mind. So I would be extremely surprised if Vito doesn't go 61. And so he's going to be the favorite there.
Nashawn beat Dayton last time they wrestled.
Yes. Nishan Garrett. Will DeSanto come back down if he's healthy? I feel like DeSanto's been improving a lot in freestyle. So those would be the guys that come to mind for me. I'm sure I'm missing some, but those are the top dogs in my mind.
70? Is it James Green? Is he back?
Skinny Jimmy, unskinnied. That's what we want to see.
You know who my guy is?
Alec Pantelio.
Alec Pantelio.
I know. It feels like every year it's like it could, and he's right there, and just doesn't quite get the next nudge. Are there any like college guys at 57? I want to see. Hey, listen, let's get Caleb Larkin in the mix.
Yeah.
That guy is
Real.
such a dog.
I heard
Caleb
here's going up like a lot of weight though.
But 154 and a half. You know, maybe he still do that to make a world team. We're driving. I'm driving. Was it yesterday? And Caleb's like, "Who's gonna be the next 4-timer in college?" I was was like, good question. I forget who I said. He's like, it's obvious. I'm like, who? He goes, Caleb Larkin. I was like, he's so good.
He just likes him because his name's Caleb.
He's like, he beat Yanni. He's like, I was cheering for Yanni, so I don't want to say that, but he beat Yanni. That call was weird. That's fine. He was gone all last week, so it was tough without him. So now he's back, ready to talk some wrestling. So that was
That's
good.
great. We got to have him on the show sometime.
Oh yeah, yeah. Not a shortage of opinions. A shortage.
I don't know if he's built for a live show.
No. Yeah. Honestly, it makes me nervous. 'Cause he is a very. He just says what he thinks. He's a literal child.
The problem with someone like that is he'll say something and you don't want people to assume that he got it from you.
That's my thing.
He doesn't. He said he has these completely independent thoughts.
He's my number one nemesis. And you should see us. All we do is argue. He's arguing about sports. So yeah, no. But that is my fear. Everyone's like, oh yeah, he's a big this or that. I'm like, no, he's insane.
All right, quickly.
For me,
79 kilos and 92.
This is the weight, 79, because you could have Burroughs, Nolf, Marsteller, Ringer, Carter Starachi.
Whew.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because after the Olympic trials, it was like, okay, Burrow's done. Marsteller says he's not going down. I was told he's not going back down by Reese. He's like, no, he's not going to do it again. And then at Coach Waters' camp last week, Scott Moore was there, and he's like, yeah, I think Chance is just fired up now, and he wants to go down. He's planning to go down for non-Olympic worlds. So, and I truly believe Jordan Burroughs is going to be back. And then I don't know if Starachi would do it because 1, health, 2, weight, 3, if he's not going 74 for college, then holding 79 through worlds, and it sort of gets a little sticky. So I don't know if he's going to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an incredible weight class.
If he's going 84 or 97, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Either of those wouldn't really make sense for him to hold his weight.
Maybe he goes 92.
Oh, snap. That would be fire.
That would be
Who would he be competing against at 92?
Zahid.
Zahid, Hidley,
Mike Carter.
Mike Monk.
Colin Moore, Nate Jackson.
Bro, that's a deep weight. We're so good at all these weights.
Yeah, that's fire.
Yep.
Zahid, the returning world bronze at that weight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good cue.
How much time do we have left?
Keep going.
Okay. Caleb is a top recruit coming out of high school. Does Virginia Tech stand a chance against Iowa?
It's such a ridiculous hypothetical. I hope so. I hope I hope that with the passage of time, Caleb will have an open mind.
Okay.
And not be he's not going to be a 13-year-old forever. Yeah. He has very strong opinions on teams, though.
Okay.
And he doesn't listen to me at all. So if you're wondering that, basically you asked Virginia Tech because I'm a Virginian. Everyone knows I love Virginia Tech and UVA. And so, yeah, you would think I would have influence. I have no influence. Listen, I grew up.
Back to him being your nemesis.
I grew up a Baltimore, or it wasn't even a choice. I didn't even have an option or a desire to stray from the nest and being anything but an Orioles and a Redskins fan. And now he likes none of the teams that I cheer for. So no one has had less.
He likes good teams.
Yeah, no one has had less influence on Caleb's sporting interest than me. So I'm not going to have much of a say, but I'd be him being a high level recruit. That's
all right.
More fictitious.
We got this from Slink on Twitter. Who wins these matches? 2018 Stevan Micic versus 2022 Roman Bravo Young.
18 Micic, so he made the finals and lost to Seth Gross, and then Roman 2020 what?
2022
when he won
when he beat
Dayton. Another undefeated run. Man, I don't know. I don't want to do this one.
Okay.
I want to do it, but I just don't want to go first.
Okay.
Someone else give a thought.
Well, I'm gonna go pick the easy answer for me. I'm gonna go Stevan.
It's interesting.
I like Stevan's ability to slow down a guy like RBY.
Yeah,
personally.
Get his hands on him.
RBY's not I feel like incredibly high attack rate guy.
No, slow down as in get close distance.
Oh yeah.
That's how I interpret that. What I think the problem that Roman gave a lot of people is his down block re-attacks. I think Stevan does have a game where he could get in, and when he gets in, he's so good at finishing. That gives him a shot, but I have a hard time picking Roman. Okay. But then again, I think Stevan will have the advantage at the Olympic Games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are different versions of them.
Different.
Too. 2022, Nick Sirianni versus 2023, Spencer Lee.
Spencer.
So it depends on which 2023 Spencer you're talking about, though, kind of. Because 2023 Spencer Lee lost to Matt Ramos.
True.
Was struggling to finish tournaments. Like
Yeah.
he didn't finish at the U.S. Open. But then you also had the end of 2023. Spencer Lee won the Bill Farrell. Won senior nationals.
Yeah.
Which 2023 Spencer Lee are we talking
I
about
still
here?
watched Spencer Lee beat him in the finals. I know it was different
Yeah.
versions, but we kind of saw that match.
I'm just trying to spice this conversation.
At NCAAs, NCAA Spencer Lee would lose to 2022 NCAA Nick Suriano. If that's the question, then Nick Suriano would.
I think that's what this person is implying.
Then I would take that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 2019, Yanni D versus 2023, Andrew Ramirez.
This is great. But Yanni.
Yanni just doesn't lose.
Not
Not in folk style.
not in folk style.
He lost to Austin Gomez.
Lost to Gomez, lost to Jaden Ironman. Those were around 7 years apart. And other than that, he just beat everybody. Yeah, I like Yanni in this matchup.
2018, Imar versus 2023, Keegan O'Toole.
2023.
I don't know why they picked 2018 Imar because that's the year he lost to Vincenzo Joseph.
You could still say that was his best year, maybe, though.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at
He was
stats.
undefeated going into that
He's
match.
undefeated.
And he beat Chenzo that year. You could say eyeball test. I thought he looked the best that year, and then Chenzo just did Chenzo at NCAA things.
15-16 Imar was so freaking good at 157. Man, could Imar bully him and get the... I kind of think Imar.
I would go Imar as well.
I'm ducking. Ben can't attack me.
I wonder what Ben would say.
You know what he would say.
All right.
You wonder?
I wonder. I mean, I wonder what his what he would say technically. I wonder how if he was charged with game planning a 2023 Keegan O'Toole for a 2018 Imar, what his game plan would be.
From a power perspective, who has Keegan wrestled that can mimic that? He's beaten
No one.
He's beaten multiple national champions. He's beaten David Carr. He's beaten Shane Griffith. He shut down a lot of guys. But someone with that kind of power, it's a different wrinkle, and I'd like to see it.
Yep, I agree. That brings an end to questions from friends presented
I can't
by
believe the
State
gas
Liberty.
station question didn't make it.
What was the gas station?
Those are my people, my gas station people.
Yeah,
That's
ask
the
that.
question for
What are
me.
you talking about?
Where, can you just ask it? Because I don't have it.
It's not on here.
Yeah. The Jewel exit off I-35, Come and Go versus Loves.
Oh.
I ride with Come and Go. Have to ride with Come and Go. Loves wasn't even around when I lived in Jewel, so
All
I
right.
ride with Come and Go.
Fantastic.
I'm a big quick. I always call it QuickTime, but that's a video playing software. Quick Trip,
Quick Trip is good.
because they have. Listen, this is free for the Quick Trip, brass. But their milkshakes are some. I swear,
Not sponsored.
not sponsored, not recommended. I don't recommend these milkshakes as much as I recommend State and Liberty shirts.
Yes.
But in the drink department, they have some of the best milkshakes that I've had.
Okay.
I've had a lot of good milkshakes.
So you're talking about the ones that are like pre-frozen?
They're no. They actually get ice cream and milk and mix it together.
Wow.
It's not some weird machine that spits out what they think a milkshake is. No, this is pure.
You know what segment, JD, you can't let die?
Oh my gosh.
Monday Blues, baby.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, my Monday Blue, I don't think Kyle Snyder can make 92 kilos, nor will he be allowed to wrestle at non-Olympic weight worlds. So we don't get to see Sajlai versus Snyder this year.
Yeah, that is a sad one. The lack of, those 3 Olympic champions not being there. That's a good blue. You know what my blue is, guys? You guys know
Open it like that.
You guys know how I just hate attention, right?
Yes.
I hate it. I don't like it at all. Well, I was at this party, for my brother. It's about him celebrating his marriage and everything. And all the attention went to my State and Liberty shirt.
Oh.
And everyone's like, where did you get this? Oh my gosh, can I feel it? Can I touch you? And it's like, guys, this is about Weston. It's about his eternal love, he and Kelsey, and their baby that they're going to have in September. And I felt like the State and Liberty shirt, unfortunately, kind of stole the show. And you go to stateandliberty.com, Floor Wrestling 10, and you get a 10% discount. I didn't even tell them that because I didn't want them to.
You didn't tell him about the discount?
No, because I'm not trying to take the because this is me. This is my blue. That's why I'm sad, because it was about me, and it should have been about them. Okay. So I felt bad about that. So I did not even give them the plug then.
Okay. My Monday Blue is I went to Las Vegas this weekend with my girlfriend. It's my first time in Vegas, not for a wrestling related event.
His Monday Blue is a trip with his girlfriend.
Hold on, no. Let me finish. I wrestled at Freak Show multiple times. I've been to Cliff Keen. I've been to Vegas many times for wrestling. First time there for fun. I get there. So also the first time I've ever been paying for things on my own. I get there, and the first night we get to the hotel, I get really thirsty before bed. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to grab the water from the mini bar. It's the forbidden rule. Or is that forbidden rule? The forbidden fruit, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. You're not supposed to take things from the mini bar because they're crazy expensive. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? This water is probably $8. And if I went down, walked 10 minutes to go down to the store in the lobby, it would probably be $4 down there. I'm willing to spend the extra $4 right now to just grab this water for the convenience of it. And then make the menu intentionally hard to find. You have to turn on the TV to find the mini bar menu and find the prices.
That's insane.
So
if you have to cut on the TV to find out how much it costs, you should ask JD. Have JD guess.
Okay, yeah, JD, how much do you think this water costs?
I know it's more than $8 now, so 18.
18's a great guess. So I grab the water, I drink it, I have a great night's sleep because I'm hydrated.
Well, yeah. How many OZs?
It's 1 liter.
How many OZs?
Okay. Yeah, I'll stick to my 18 guess.
I have a great night's sleep because I'm hydrated. I wake up in the morning. I'm like, I got to find out how much this water costs. Turn on the TV. Find the menu on the TV. This is a $22 bottle of water.
Good Lord.
I almost threw myself out the window of that Vegas hotel room. It ruined my weekend.
That is sad. But there's a redemptive arc here.
But I won my money back. Is that what the redemptive arc is?
I thought so.
Okay. Yeah, me and Haley, we lost $200 in the first night.
Okay.
Last day before we go to breakfast.
Spend money to make money.
Got to spend money to make money. We're like, let's try to win it back. We won it back and more. We won we came out on top $100 out of Vegas.
You listening, kids? You listening at home, kids?
Gambling, super great. No, don't gamble.
It's like that Anthony Bourdain quote where it's like all the stuff you should do. It's like buy the $22 mini fruit bottle. Bet $100 on
Keep
black.
gambling. Your children's tuition is right around the corner.
Hey, you got to go. My favorite spot in Vegas, Stage Door. They're still doing it. $1 beers.
$1 beers?
On the Strip.
We almost went there.
Where is this?
Vegas.
It's the place
Vegas,
to
baby.
pregame in Vegas because everything.
But you have to order them by the 6 in buckets.
Yes.
But $6 bucket of Bud Lights.
Still.
On the Strip.
That is insane.
So next time you're in Vegas, tell them JD Raiders sent you. They love me there.
JD brought me there once.
Yeah.
It's great.
I was trying to see if there's a State and Liberty. No, this place is too classy for that. I support this. Manhattan Beach, that's more their speed.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's wearing State and Liberty.
No.
And not in that bar.
No.
Kozak, what's your Monday Blue?
I have a tree down backyard. Oof. Christian saw it. It's big old tree.
It's a lot of tree.
So I had to buy a
Nice firewood.
Yeah, I got lots of firewood too. I had to buy a chainsaw, but I didn't want to go and want to buy a brand new one. They're pretty expensive, so I'm looking on Marketplace.
You don't pack a chainsaw?
I've never needed one. I've never needed a chainsaw. I had one, it broke. But anyways, bought one off Marketplace. I get there, decent deal. Doesn't come with a chain.
Oh my god.
A chainless chainsaw?
Yeah, so I had to order some.
That's just a saw.
I was all geared up too. I was ready to go.
I didn't even know that was allowed.
And then-
They didn't tell you?
They didn't.
So you saw the chain and you said, I'll still take it?
It was that good of a deal, but
Oh, really?
I had to wait to cut down.
Well, it was one of those chainsaws that's meant only to be used at a haunted house.
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
one of those. One of those chainsaws.
Haunted house chainsaw.
Now you can skin so many asses raw.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Limp Bizkit. Well, that's a good blue. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
But
I got the chains now though, so we're good.
shout out to the deals though. That's good.
Kozak haunted house about to be crazy.
I'm surprised you just didn't call Bray. He likes nothing more than getting his saw on.
Yeah, well, baseball season's coming to an end now, so
Oh,
he's
yeah.
got some more time. We're gonna hack away.
He's a big baseball dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I think we did the show.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be back on Thursday. Make sure you're liking and subscribing to the show. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Flow Sports app. Not Twitter.
It's not always on Twitter.
Not always on Twitter. You know, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Thanks to Ben. Thanks to Stevan Micic. We should start calling people sometimes in the show. I like that. That was a nice little touch. We'll be back Thursday. Have a great Monday, you guys. See ya.